Hi everyone. So yesterday I did the Can You Filter Water activity with my first grade class. I built two water filters. The first one on the left was made out of the Chinet clear crystal cups, and right away it did not work. When I cut the bottom of the crystal cups, it cracked up the sides, and obviously water just came seeping out through the side. I wanted to try that one just because of the students could see so well through the crystal cups, so I thought that would give them a really good visual, but it did not work. So filter number two worked really well. I did my bottom layer was coffee filters, and then I had charcoal on top of that for bedrock, and then I had above that, in the cup above that, I had a layer of mesh and cheesecloth, and then on the top for my topsoil and subsoil, that would be my sand and gravel, and the mesh and cheesecloth acted as the soil, the roots in the soil. So what I did though was I added the alum to my water about 30 minutes ahead of time, and then I mixed in the gravel and the sand in the water so that as I was pouring it through, students could see that the water was dirty, and then the filter was cleaning the water. I felt like that gave them a good demonstration of how things were working rather than just seeing water go in the top and water come out the bottom. Um, but I noticed though, as I was pouring the sand and the gravel in the water that was already pre-treated with the alum, uh, everything just collected together right away and sank right towards the bottom. And actually, the sand and the gravel were left last. They all the water pretty much poured out before we even got to the sand and gravel. So I would be interested to see how this would work without treating the water with the alum. So we decided that through our results that yes, we can filter water just like the earth. We talked about the layers of the soil and talked about how the earth kind of naturally does this process. My students and I still had some questions when we were done. Would the filter still work if the water was not treated? They wanted to know if they could drink the water, which I thought was a really good question. And we talked about the difference between clear water and clean water, and how, especially since we put alum in this water, we don't know if it's safe to drink. And we talked about what alum is and researched that compound a little bit, but I do think it was a little bit above where they're at in first grade and what they're learning about. So where I rate this activity on the inquiry scale, I would say that for the first essential feature, the learner sharpens or clarifies the question provided. We were posed this question and kind of given some direction, and then we kind of had to take it from there. For the second essential feature, I said learner determines what constitutes evidence and collects it. We were in charge of our own experiment and evidence and collecting it. For the third essential feature, I said learner formulates explanation after summarizing evidence, and that would be what this presentation right here is showing. The fourth essential feature, learner directed towards areas and sources of scientific knowledge, and that would be all of the research provided for us in this module. The fifth essential feature, I said learner communicates and justifies explanation, and again, that's what this presentation right here is doing. So my reactions for this experiment, inquiry learning honestly took me out of my comfort zone. I'm used to questioning students and doing these kinds of things with them, but I can honestly say I've never done an activity like this myself. So it took me by surprise, but I was very uncomfortable with the limited direction and the not having the step-by-step recipe. Students seemed to have a vague understanding of the concept. They understood that they understood the layers of soil and how water travels through that. But I'm not necessarily sure that they totally got it looking at it in this context. It's a little abstract for them in first grade. I would like to revisit this activity before the end of the school year and give students the opportunity to suggest changes, and maybe we could reconstruct the filter and try it with water that hasn't been treated without alum. So overall, I thought it was a good project. My first graders had a lot of fun with it. Thank you for watching.